तो we start जी बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्लाह के नाम से शुरू करते हैं. We start the lecture. So I think it's my honor that UMT has invited me for delivering this lecture on an ancient civilization, that is the Egyptian civilization. And when we are talking about the ancient civilization, the Egyptian civilization is one of those which is considered as the oldest known civilization, जिसके बारे में कुछ लिखा जा चुका है, about which we have some knowledge. And there are some other civilizations also which are like the West Asian civilization or Indus Valley civilization or the Chinese civilization. And then the civilizations in Thailand and the upper part of that, the Cambodia, etc. So there are many civilizations, but the one civilization about which we have some clear evidence and about which we have some clear record, that is the Egyptian civilization. And this is such a civilization about which we are still continuing to learn. Every day there is new discovery and there is new elements which are coming to the light, which are shedding light on this civilization. So it's in that way, not only the oldest, but it is in some way also the very recent in the context of discoveries. So we start with today's lecture. So this is our topic of today, the ancient civilization. We are talking about the ancient Egyptian civilization. Now the basic question is that when we are discussing the architectural character of an area at a particular time, it is determined by 6 factors. And those 6 factors are very important. And when I say at a particular time, that means these factors were only applicable at the time when the civilization was existing. Today, the things have changed and most of the factors have also changed. So we are only considering these factors when the ancient civilization was flourishing or when the ancient civilization was at its peak, and also when the civilization was at the downfall. So these are the 6 factors which are very important. For number 1 is the geographical factor. Number 2 is the geological factor. Number 3, the climatic factors, religious factors, social factors, and historical factors. So these are the 6 elements which determine the style of architecture of a civilization, particularly when these civilizations were existing. So that means that we have to consider these elements one by one. And we look at these elements with a view to find out how these elements affected the molding of the ancient Egyptian civilization. Now, if you look at the geographical factors, we see that the civilization of the Nile, which is our current topic today, existed over here, the part of the northeastern Africa. The second most important civilization is here, the light purple color, flourished between the 2 rivers, that is Tigris and Euphrates, commonly known as the West Asiatic civilization. And then we have the civilization of the Indus River, known as the Indus Valley civilization. And then we go to the east, that is the civilization of the Yellow River in China and Tibet and the other parts. So these are the focal points of the ancient civilizations. In this map, we see the little bit of focus on Egypt, and this will be the area which will be in consideration today. Now, looking at the geographical factor, we see that in the north, these are the countries which is Lebanon and Turkey, and in the east, we have Jordan and Saudi Arabia. In the west we have Libya, and in the south, we have Sudan. So that determines the location. Coming to the location and further discovery and further knowledge about this, we see that there is a river flowing, which is shown by this blue line. Now, this is a strange incident. You look at the rivers in the world map, you look at the great rivers in the world map, you will see that all the rivers are flowing from top to bottom in the map. I'm talking about the map, not exactly. But this is a strange river which is traveling from bottom to the top. But that doesn't mean it is traveling upward. It doesn't mean that. But this is a unique character of this river. If we compare it with the flow of river with other great rivers of the world, all other rivers flow from top to bottom, that is north to south. In this case, this is a river flowing from south to north. And this is the area which came directly under the control or under the influence of this great river. Most of the sites which are important historically, they are all situated at the banks of this great river. So this is another map, and you can see the area once again, and then we come to the geographical factors. And when we talk of the geography, geo is simply the land or the earth, and the logic is the causes or the factors which govern, or the reasoning of those, that geology. Now, in this case, when we talk of the geology geology is not only the things which are underground. Geology is also things which are on the ground. For example, trees are on the ground, so they are also part of geological factors. The minerals are below the ground level, they are also geographical factors. But some of the mountains which were existing, and from this, the ancient Egyptians used to quarry the stone for the construction of their pyramids and other monuments. They were quarried from these rocks, and most of the rocks, if we go to Cairo, I have been to Cairo and seen these rocks. Most of these rocks are in an area of Cairo today, which is known as the Muqattam area. And these rocks are also known as Muqattam Hills. Most of this stone was quarried from there. And these are the rocks. And you can see from these cuttings that some of the stone is still being quarried from these rocks. So this is the stone, which is basically the grey sandstone, which was used for the construction of the pyramids. Coming to the geographical factor which are existing on the face of the earth, the Egyptians, they didn't have much wood, but they had two trees only. One is known as the sycamore tree, and the other is this is the sycamore tree, the close-up of the tree, and then the second tree is known as the acacia tree. This is the acacia tree, and if you watch your National Geographic or the wildlife films, normally you will come across this kind of trees standing in the barren land. So this is the most famous tree which is found in the desert of Egypt. But the tree is very rare, not many trees like this. There's no jungles. An isolated tree stand like this in the wilderness. So these are the two types, and one of these two were used for the making of the coffins of the dead bodies, which were known as the mummies. Now, when I talk of the mummies, then normally I ask a question to my students, why these dead bodies were known as mummies? Why they were not known as daddies or puppies or masis? So do you have any answer to this question, why these dead bodies were known as mummies? Answer not from the teachers, but from the students. Answer from the students only.
सर ये स्टूडेंट हूँ, मैं आंसर कर दूं?
जी जी बताएं।
सर जो होते थे उनमें जो किंग्स वगैरह होते थे, जो इक़्तिदार में लोग होते हैं, उनके जो डेड हो जाते थे सर, उनको ममीफाइड किया जाता था, जो कि 70 डेज का प्रोसेस होता था। तो उस जो प्रोसेस की वजह से सर उसको मम्मी कंसीडर किया जाता था कि वो ममीफाइड करने का प्रोसेस।
ये तो कोई बात ना हुई कि 70 डेज की वजह से वो मम्मीज कहलाते थे। देयर मस्ट बी सम अदर रीजन। Any other answer? So I tell you, this is what is important actually when we are in the process of learning. तो जरूरी नहीं होता कि जो हमारा टॉपिक ऑफ लर्निंग है डायरेक्टली हम उस पे फोकस करें. Sometimes we can deviate right and left and top and bottom to learn something which are associated elements of our learning. For example, now the question has come about the mummies, and mummy is a very common word. But the background is this, that when a person died, or the king died, or a pharaoh died, and I will ask, so who was the pharaohs? I will ask you that question also after I explain this. Now, when the pharaoh or king or whosoever died, first of all, his entrails were removed. Entrails are जो आंतें वांतें होती है पेट में, उनको निकाल लेते थे. And then the stomach was stuffed with some very, very poisonous medicines. The reason being that उनको फिर insects वगैरह harm ना करें. So that was how the stomach was stuffed with that element, which was very, very poisonous. After doing that, then the body was applied a kind of balm. That balm was in the kind of a wax. Now, when they were embalming the dead body, that wax was used generally all over the body. And after applying that bomb, then body was covered with the kind of tape which was made of cloth. जैसे हमारे पुराने ज़माने में वो होती थी एक पलंग बुनने के लिए होती थी. I don't know what is the local name of that. तो उससे पलंग बुनते थे.
पट्टी हम कह सकते हैं वो कपड़े की जो
पट्टी कह लो जैसे बैंडेजेस की पट्टी
नवार
होती है. नवार is the right word. Yes, नवार is the right word. बिल्कुल सही आपका. नवार is the right word. तो वो नवार से पलक बुनते थे. तो नवार टाइप चीज उस डेड बॉडी के ऊपर लपेट देते थे after embalming it. Now the embalming is the application of some kind of balm. तो balm तो ऐसे भी जैसे हम आजकल भी बहुत सी balm यूज करते हैं. But that balm was made out of wax. Because the wax was known as mom, so actually the name became known from mom. So actually actual word is mommifying, M-O-M-M-Y. So mom is the Arabic word and mom is also the French word. So us mom ki wajah se these bodies became known as mummified. So gradually as this distortion takes place in all languages, so transformation bhi hote rehti hai words ki. So gradually this mummy became turned into mummy. So that is the background of mummification. Second is who are the pharaohs and why they were known as pharaohs. That is another question. Any answer to this question, why they were known as pharaohs?
Sir, pharaohs were the rulers of Egypt.
Yes, I think you are very right. But it is the name of a family. It is the name of a group of people. But if you study Quran in Surah Al-Muzammil, there is a reference to the surah. There is a reference to the pharaoh, and that is one pharaoh which existed at the time of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. And that pharaoh was the Ramses II. Uska zikr shayad aage chal ke aaj aaye. So this is the other picture of the acacia tree, and the acacia tree can be used for this purpose also. And this is a mummy case made of that wood from sycamore. That is another mummy case. The dead body has been removed. And then the religious sectors. These people, the Egyptian civilization, their religion was very close to the religion of Islam. They very strongly believed that when we are living only a very temporary life. Or they believe that when we are living, we are not living at all. But when we are dead, then we are starting a life which will never end. That life will be eternal, endless life. तो हमारा भी अकीदा यही है कि इस दुनिया में तो हम एक टेम्पररी तौर पे हैं, लेकिन जब हमारी डेथ हो जाएगी and then we pass over to the next world, that life will be a permanent life which will have no end at all. So these people also believed in this. And then while believing in this, if you look at in the map, the river is flowing, the river Nile is flowing. All their mortuary building, that building which are related to the dead, for example, their mastabas, their pyramids and their graveyards, they are all situated on the western side of the river. But they are all living on the eastern side of the river. Now this has a very symbolic value. Why the life is on the eastern side and why the death is on the western side. The symbolic values goes like this, that when the sun is rising, तो ये इजिप्शियन सारे जो थे उसके सजदे में गिर जाते थे. तो जो प्रोवर्ब है, बड़ा फेमस प्रोवर्ब जिसे हम कहते हैं, द वर्शिप ऑफ द राइजिंग सन, वो इन्हीं लोगों से वजह से आया है कि जब वो सन चढ़ रहा होता था, राइज कर रहा होता था, तो उसकी ये वर्शिप करते थे. बट व्हेन द सेम सन वाज सेटिंग इन द वेस्ट इन द इवनिंग, तो ये उसकी तरफ देखना भी पसंद नहीं करते थे. And that is what our culture or what our habits are today. We only worship a person who is rising. जो ही वो person retire हो जाता है, then we start caring about him. So exactly this is the human nature which is depicted in the religious life of the ancient Egyptians. So the belief in the future life resulted in two very important elements: life on the eastern side of the river and all the buildings which are related to the death on the western side of the river. And then the river was used for many other purposes also. And that is the point we discuss after a few seconds, a few minutes. And they believed in a number of gods. The number of gods is unlimited. There were gods and there were goddesses, and they believed in gods which were in the human form. and they believed in God which were in the animal form, and they believed in the God. When I say in the animal form, there could be a cat, there could be a crocodile, and there could be a monkey, and things like this. All these animals were their gods. And in this picture, you can see a wolf, and you can see a wolf, and you can see a eagle, and you can see a crocodile. All these are their gods, and the number of gods is unlimited. So it's very difficult to remember all those gods, but some of them are very important. For example, here the Osiris is considered as the chief god, and the rest of the gods and goddesses are his daughters and sons. And then a number of other gods are like this. But when you're looking at these pictures, they look very colorful, and this give you an idea how familiar or how much they loved the element of color in these pictures. And what is more important is they never depicted their life, themselves as a Gora person. They are always depicted as themselves in the brown color, which was their natural color. These are some of the more elements of the gods and goddesses. Now, coming to the system of their burial, they always buried their dead in a grave or in a pit. Actually, when we use the word grave, does that mean to you? What is the meaning of a grave? What is your answer? What is when I say this is a grave? What does that mean?
Sir, a place where dead body is buried under the mud or in the coffin.
जी, उसके अलावा कुछ और?
Sir, a small room या chamber type जिसमें body को bury किया जाता है.
So if you look at the etymology का लफ्ज आपने सुना कभी? जी, अब आपने ये लफ्ज सुना है etymology, ETYMOLOGY?
No, sir.
नहीं, etymology है कि लफ्ज कहाँ से आ गया, origin इसका क्या है? तो origin जो है, that is the etymology. For example, हम जैसे when you are studying medical science or engineering science, तो बहुत सी terminologies हैं जो इंग्लिश में नहीं है. For example, when we say gynecology, तो gynecology तो बड़ा कॉमन सा लफ्ज है, हॉस्पिटल में बड़ा यूज होता है फॉर लेडीज. तो मीनिंग क्या है गायनी की, ये लफ्ज कहाँ से आ गया? पर गायनी सिंपली मीन ए वुमन. So any science which is relating or which is dealing with women, that is known as gynecology. तो हॉस्पिटल में जो ब्रांच होती है जहाँ women का इलाज किया जाता है, that is known as gynecological ward. तो ये origin है. फिर then when we say this is the origin, then another question comes to the mind, the origin आया कहाँ से? Who are the people who generated these words? So that is very important. जब आप learn कर रहे हैं ना, so the most important thing in the learning is not now we're looking at this diagram. तो ये इस तरह की कब्रें हैं. No, that's not important. The more important thing is कि ये जो terminology है ये आई कहाँ से? Because that increases our knowledge. So when I say the grave, तो grave में तो अंग्रेजी का पहले तो आ जाए उस पे gynecology की बात मैं कर रहा था. You see, in the world there are two languages which are very, very old languages. One is the language is known as Latin. The other language is known as Sanskrit. Now, Latin has affected almost all the languages of the West. Sanskrit has affected all the languages of the East or the Orient. Where is the origin of the Latin? The Latin is if you go to Italy, there is a small district which is known as Latina. So जो Latina के लोग थे, वो जो जुबान बोलते थे, that was known as Latin. So Latin is so rich in its vocabulary कि दुनिया जहान की जो जुबानें हैं उस पर इसने इन्फ्लुएंस किया और तकरीबन सब जुबानों ने इनकी लैंग्वेज को, इनकी वोकेबलरी को, इनकी डिक्शन को अडॉप्ट कर लिया. So that is the great influence of Latin and all the Western languages. तो ये जो मैंने भी यूज करता है गायनेकोलॉजी और इवन फिलॉलॉजी और इवन फिलॉसफी, वो फिलॉसफी क्या है? व्हाट इज एमफिल, व्हाट इज पीएचडी, पीएचडी क्यों कहते हैं, एमफिल क्यों कहते हैं? ये अभी मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन इसका भी करता हूँ कि व्हाई इट इज सो. देन सो ये तो लैटिन की बात होगी. सेकंड लैंग्वेज इज संस्कृत. Sanskrit is the language of the southern India. तो सदर्न इंडिया में अगर आप चले जाएं, दैट इज मद्रास वगैरह का इलाका, बेंगलोर का इलाका, तो वहाँ आज भी संस्कृत बोली जाती है. बट संस्कृत अगेन वाज सो रिच इन इट्स वोकेबुलरी एंड इट्स डिक्शन. इसने सारी लैंग्वेज को इन्फ्लुएंस किया. हिंदी इज एन आउटकम ऑफ दिस लैंग्वेज. उर्दू में बहुत से लफ्ज हैं इसके. तो जितनी लैंग्वेजेस इस पार्ट में आई हैं उसमें बहुत कंट्रीब्यूशन है संस्कृत. नाउ कमिंग टू ओवर दिस टॉपिक, द ग्रेव. अब ग्रेव में कहते सिचुएशन इज वेरी ग्रेव, तो इसमें क्या हुआ कि कब्र, सिचुएशन कब्र में चली गई या नो? तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द, जिसको हम टूम भी क्यों कहते हैं. टूम एंड ग्रेव आर वेरी क्लोज टू ईच अदर. टूम इज इफ यू मेक ए पिट इन द ग्राउंड, एक गड़ा सा खोद लें और उसमें कोई चीज डाल दें उस गड़े में, तो दैट गड़ा इज नोन एज ए टूम. वो उसका मकबरा नहीं है, वो सिर्फ वो गड़ा जो है दैट इज ए टूम. उसमें जब हम कोई चीज डाल देते हैं तो दैट इट बिकम्स एंटूममेंट. उस चीज की एंटूममेंट हो गई. Now the grave is the depth of that tomb, that the depth of that pit is the grave. तो जब हम कहते हैं कि सिचुएशन इज वेरी ग्रेव, तो इसका मतलब है कि सिचुएशन बहुत ही नीचे चली गई है, टू इट्स लोअर लेवल. So that is the connection between the tomb and a grave and a pit. So just remember that. I hope you understand. You have got the answer. ठीक है जी. तो ये the Egyptian used to bury is again putting something in a pit. So they used to bury the dead in the pit, and then it was covered like this, and then gradually these pits became deeper, and then it became more elaborate like this. And ultimately, whenever they used to bury the dead or place the dead in these pits, तो उसके साथ, because since they believe that this person will rise again and live forever, तो खाना वाना भी उसमें डाल देते थे, जेवरात भी, कपड़े भी. तो लेकिन वो बाद में चोरियां शुरू हो गई उनकी. तो इन ऑर्डर टू फोरस्टाल की चोरियां ना हो, तो उन्होंने इस पिट को ज्यादा डीप बनाना शुरू कर दिया. Now the dead body is here, and then the valuable are dropped from here so that they can reach the dead body. And then this turned into, because they wanted to go to, in this case, they couldn't reach the place where the dead body is. So they started making it like this, and the passage goes down like this, and there is a room at top. And this building, which has a sloping walls on 4 sides, and there's a room inside, that was known as a mastaba. So this is the evolution of mastaba. And then again, another form of the mastaba. And gradually, when this mastaba was there, and when the father died, this mastaba was built, and when his son came, he died, he built another mastaba over it, like this, and then another mastaba over it. So this is one mastaba, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So this process continued from one generation to second to third, and so on. So this generated a kind of pyramid, which was known as the step pyramid, because these are the steps. So this is the early form of the pyramid, which is known as the step pyramid. And there's a very famous pyramid in close to the 3 main pyramids, which is the pyramid at Zoser. I have seen that pyramid is very bad shape today, but nevertheless, it gives us the example of the prototypes of the pyramids. So in this case, the chamber is here where the dead body is lying here, and there is a room from which we can go down to meet the dead body. And ultimately, when the pyramid was here, the bed pyramid, it was covered with plaster, and it got the shape like this in the end, which is known as the true pyramid today. So that is the evolution of the pyramid, or the evolution or the process of the burial, and how they used to bury their dead. That actually led to the construction of the mastabas, and ultimately those mastabas led to the creation of step pyramids, and then step pyramid led to the building of the true pyramids.